Hi everybody, welcome to our weekly video. This is our last one before the holiday this year. And as usual, I'm going to go through a holiday toy review. My team and I try out some different toys and give you some information on them so you can decide whether or not they might be a good fit for your dog. And we are taking into consideration particularly what might bother or be good for a fearful dog. All right, let's jump into the slides. Holiday toy review. All right, so let's get right to the contestants. Which toys did we look at this year? We don't always look at brand new toys. They're just new to our dogs. Okay, so here they are. We reviewed a puzzle toy that's there on the left. I'll show you some video of it. It's somewhat advanced. So that's the most complicated one we reviewed this year. The Busy Buddy Barnacle, the second one, which is a rubber toy that you can put treats into, pretty straightforward. This kind of silicone snuffle mat that is also a pretty simple one, so it can be good for beginners, dogs who are just getting started with food toys. And then something that's a little more intermediate, the Tornado puzzle toy there on the right. Okay, now let's take a look at our testers. We had several this year volunteering their services. And here they are. So my three dogs are across the top there, Pancake, Juno, and Jasper. Many of you know Pancake from some of our other videos. He's a small dog, a tripod, so missing a front leg. And he's much less fearful than he used to be, but he still is somewhat sensitive to noises, which is something I always think about when I'm introducing him to new toys. Juno and Jasper aren't particularly worried about most toys. They are seniors, about 15 years old, and so that will affect how they interact with toys. Along the bottom here, we've got Coco, who is our team trainer Rachel's dog. She is a super chewer and loves squeaky toys and any rubber toys, and basically anything she can chew. Alina, the middle dog here, this is a foster dog in care with one of our former team trainers. And she's not particularly fearful, I don't think, but as far as we know, she's pretty new to the idea of food toys. And little Bones there on the bottom right. Some of you may remember him from past videos like a harness training video. And he is a little bit, he's fearful of some things, but food toys is not, he's not afraid of toys, particularly. So you'll see he's enthusiastic. All right, so let's take a look at our results. What I'll do is show you some video and then give you pros and cons that we noticed for each toy, and also tell you how our dogs rated them. Okay, so here is that puzzle toy I mentioned. That's the most advanced one that we reviewed this year. So it's pretty easy to fill. You just twist the top off, and it can hold a fair amount of kibble or treats. They have to press that top thing down to dispense the kibble into the little compartments below. But you can also just start out by placing treats or kibble in some of the compartments so that, you know, it's easier for them to win right off the bat. So here's little Pancake in his Christmas sweater. It didn't take him too long to figure out he needed to lift those little orange covers. And it also didn't take him long to try pawing this. If you've got a dog who's already pretty pawsy, they use their paws a lot, then this will probably come naturally to them. If not, you might need to help them. And here's Juno. Now, with her bigger snout, she seemed to need, or prefer at least, use her teeth to open these little compartments more, so it was a little tougher for her. Okay, so just to summarize, this Panorama puzzle, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that brand name right, but this more difficult puzzle was somewhat challenging, at least in the beginning, even for my very toy-savvy dogs. So if you've got a dog who has already blown through all of the toys that you have given them, like they're all easy for them now, this might be one to try. You can vary the difficulty, so you can just put treats in the outside compartments, the ones that are covered by the orange covers, first before putting anything in the top compartment that they then have to depress with their nose or their paw. So that'll make it easier. And obviously the the two curved compartments on the outside there, you can have treats just in the open side too. So that's a real easy win for a dog approaching the toy for the first time. So at the most difficult level, the dog does need to depress the top, the clear plastic compartment where you can see the treats in here in this photo, with their nose or paw. And when you do that, it does make a little bit of noise. So if your dog really hates noise, like plasticky, clicky noises, then this might not be a good idea for them. And it can be, like many of these sort of fussier puzzles, these plastic puzzles, the difficulty, the sort of difficult steps can be circumvented by brute force. So Jasper, for instance, my dog Jasper has never had patience for these kind of puzzles where the dog needs to make small manipulations to the puzzle. So he would just pick it up and throw it at the wall, and then the food would fall out. So this is how my dogs rated this puzzle. Pancake liked it pretty well. He gave it 4 stars. Juno liked it too, but it was a little harder for her with her bigger nose to open up the compartments. And Jasper thought it was dumb and just wanted his food. So he did not use the puzzle as intended. Here is that silicone snuffle mat. It's really soft, which I like because you'll see in the video that the dogs are really shoving their faces in there and their tongues. It's a little, a bit of a pain to fill with dry treats, but here I used Easy Cheese, and that was easy to place into the snuffle mat. So that was Jasper just licking cheese out of it, and it lasts much longer than I thought it would, which was a pleasant surprise. And you can see here how Juno's sticking her nose in between the little flaps. And then Pancake, with his much smaller nose, seemed to have an easier time getting treats out of it, although all the dogs could get them out. The snuffle mat that I just showed you video of is really easy for the dog to get stuff out of, but it also lasts longer than you would think, given how easy it seems to be, especially if you put gooey treats into the mat. So it can take solid or gooey treats or wet food. It's really soft, so I like that. There wasn't going to be any, no one's nose was going to get scratched up or cut. There's actually quite strong suction cups on the bottom of this thing, which is handy if you've got a dog who otherwise might try to pick it up and tip it. They still might be able to, but at least there's some deterrent there. It's a little bit tricky to fill with solid treats. If you just sprinkle the solid treats on top, they don't fall through very easily, so it works better if you kind of hold it up and bend it to expose an open sort of lane between the flaps and dump treats in that way. So all my dogs like this toy quite a bit. Here is the Busybody Barnacle being played with by our own Coco. It's fairly tough rubber, and you put treats into there are 3 different openings you can place treats into. And then they mostly need to just bounce it or roll it around to get the treats out. The Busybody Barnacle that you just saw Coco playing with, it's sort of moderate difficulty. It's not super difficult, but the openings so there's an opening in each of these 3 like spheres here in the toy, and they have little rubber prongs sticking out into them, and you can clip those to make it easier for the treats to come out. Of course, that's a permanent alteration. You can't then make it more difficult later, at least not in that way. It doesn't last forever, but it does take some time for the dog to get the treats out. For a fearful dog, it's good to be aware that it can bounce and move around a little bit unpredictably, which may startle them, but it is pretty quiet. Coco really liked this. She gave it 4.5 stars. All right, and here's the Tornado. This is the lowest level of difficulty here. There are these white plastic blockers you can put into some of those bone-shaped openings. You can see where the treats are to stop it from rotating, so then the dog has to learn how to pull out that little plastic bone in order to move the layers around so they can get to the food. But I wouldn't start with those. So you can see it's the compartments are pretty big, and it's relatively straightforward for the dog to kind of push the rotating larger plastic bones around to uncover treats. This is a hard plastic toy, and here in the photo you can see the white plastic bones that you can use to block the motion of these the rotating panels of the toy. The dog can get pretty easy wins right away when they walk up to the toy. There can be exposed treats, and there are ways to make it more or less difficult, like multiple ways to do so, because I think it comes with 3 or 4 of the plastic bones that you can use to block movement of the different layers. So you could start with just, well, none, and then you could move on to having 1 in place and then build from there. It's really easy to fill and clean, which is nice. It does spin, so, you know, for a really sensitive dog who's coming to their very first food toy, that might be a little too much for them. So Bones rated this 5 out of 5. He loved it, and Alina liked it pretty well too. And she was, remember, as far as we know, a novice to food toys. So that was a good sign that she was able to engage with this toy no problem. All right, folks, I will put links to all of those toys on our recommended products page, so you can find them there. If you would like to get on the list to get our weekly newsletter, if you aren't already on it, so you can stay in the loop, hear about new offerings, discounts and deals, new free content, go to the link at the bottom of this slide, dogkindtraining.com/newsletter, and then you will be on our list in our community and will get all of our updates. All right, everybody, have a wonderful holiday, and I'll see you in the new year.